It's the Absurd American Nerdcast with your hosts, Freddie and Mr. S. Say we move forward and we talk about something else that I know that we're absolutely enjoying, and that's going to be House of the Dragon. And then we've missed out a few weeks of this. So we saw Rhaenyra when she was younger. And then we did a little bit of a time jump, so now we see Rhaenyra's kids, and we see all the struggles and quarrels that go on through that. And I mean, we've gotten house attacks, we've gotten dragons that are gaining new riders, losing new riders, to, you know, legitimacy being questioned, of heirs to bloodlines to everything. So this series has been absolutely wild, and I'm enjoying every single minute of it. I personally have not read the books. I know that you have read the books. It is what it is. I enjoy cinematic more than I do reading, and I know that you enjoy reading and getting the details more, and that's one reason why we do so well at podcasting with everything. So, from a book perspective, though, how are they doing? I feel like it's pretty accurate. I know there's some stuff that's missing, some things that have been twisted just a little bit to make it fit into what they're doing. From your perspective as the books, you know, what do you think?
Here's something that, so I think I've mentioned this before, that it's a history textbook. It's highlighting key things that happened in the Targaryen dynasty. But the thing is, there's instead of his ship or the sea snake that died in the recent episode, spoiler alert for those who haven't seen it yet, but they just didn't show his death, right? But apparently, I think from what I remember, he died from a really bad illness. And I think they mentioned that very briefly, but they also mentioned that he got his throat slit.
They said it was a fatal wound, and he was returning to Driftmark, but he might not make it back to Driftmark alive. That's kind of where the most recent episode has kind of dropped us off.
So I'm just kind of following it how I see it on screen. You know? But it's been pretty accurate towards the book. Everything's kind of falling in line to where it needs to be right now. And, you know, I want to say that I am so excited for this show because, it makes me excited to watch Game of Thrones again.
Right.
But I just know how it ends, and I hate that aspect.
You love and hate it at the same time.
Yeah, you watch Game of Thrones, the original series, you watch it up to Season 8, Episode 3, with the first part of Episode 4, you're going to die a happy person. Because I can tell you this right now, they did what they had to do, and nothing else matters after.
Right.
I hated King's Landing episode so bad. But anyway, this recent episode, we saw, obviously, the questioning bloodlines and stuff like that. You know, the legitimacy of the bloodline with Rhaenyra's kids, which, obviously, we all know they are actual bastards.
Right.
But, obviously, Viserys doesn't... I think he just doesn't care because it's family.
Right.
You know,
at the end of the
episode,
man.
He wanted to just be with them.
Right. He knew that his time was very limited. Everyone was back together, and he really just wanted to have at least a last meal with his family, and he at least got it. They put on a good face, but as soon as he was out the door, all the insults and all the bickering just picked right back up again, especially within the kids. I feel like the two moms, Rhaenyra and the queen. What's the Queen of Hightower's name? I'm drawing a blank right now. It's my turn to draw a blank.
I always draw a blank. Sorry, guys.
Well, anyway, sorry. I'm horrible with names, and that's not just in series. That's in personal life too. I'm horrible with names. But we see the Queen and Rhaenyra, and I feel like they finally kind of make a little bit of amends at towards the end, with toasting each other, and unfortunately that doesn't change anything between the kids. The kids are still going to quarrel, but of course at the end of the episode, the queen overhears Viserys talk about the secret of the Targaryens in the Song of Ice and Fire, and she takes that as her son and not who it legitimately is.
Yeah, because that story is only told between people that are of the succession.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that story is only brought down from them, and that's the blade that's supposed to do it. You know, prophesized to do it.
Spoiler: it does.
Um, and I like that even he tried to do good on his last moments on being alive, just fucked it right up.
He messed everything up. So I mean, we saw shit hit the fan, with the kids, especially with the dragon riding and all that stuff. Um, we saw shit hit the fan there, and then we kind of time jumped a little bit more again, which is great. And then of course we have the succession line here, and of course we have somebody else that wants to be heir to Driftmark, and he comes in to make his points, and instead insults the legitimacy of Rhaenyra's kids yet again out loud in the throne room in front of the king, and he's already threatened that I'll have your tongue if this is ever spoken again. And Damien just kind of takes everything but the tongue in his slash, doesn't he? He literally cuts his head off.
Man's
and like
head launch.
like, oh, here's a question. One, no longer a question because he's gone. He's dead. Two, you said cut out his tongue. I left everything but the tongue on his head.
Yeah.
Like, wow. Absolutely wild.
That was a clean slice, man.
And it's a Valyrian steel sword. It cuts so cleanly, just... I saw that and I almost dropped down, like, what?
I shouted at the TV. I said, what?
Yeah, it was, and I see this show at first. It was very kind of slow, but I mean, it was very necessary to get all the information and bring us to where we are. Every time jump, they do a really amazing job in their writing and everything to really let us know, hey, we made a time jump. This is where we're at right now. Let's give you all the information, all the stuff that's going on in between all the characters right now, and let's move forward. And they've done that in like 1 or 2 episodes, and then we'll do another little time jump, and then we get all the information we need, and we're building again. So we did another little time jump here, but this one was very much a big turning point with everything that's going on. And again, amazing series. Looking forward to watching more of it, and obviously there's going to be multiple seasons bringing us up to the actual Game of Thrones instead of House of the Dragon. So
I think it's going to end with the birth of Daenerys.
That would make sense.
I really believe that's where it's going to lead, and that's where it's going to end. And this show is going to have so many people in it, like revolving characters and actors and actresses.
Once we get closer to where Game of Thrones actually takes place in this show, I'm very curious if they're going to bring some actors and actresses back, and if they do, you know, because some of I don't think we'll have so much of the children actors, but like I feel like some of the adult actors we can bring back and de-age them just a little bit to, you know, bring them into, I don't know. I think that'd be a cool idea, just to really make it so that both the shows kind of intersect and make sense, but we'll see. And then, what a time to be alive, to be a nerd right now, because everything is just going so perfectly. But yeah, that I feel like it's just going to be great. I can't say anything else besides the king definitely deserves an Oscar. Wow.
I mean, that whole scene coming up the stairs and everything is improvised, bro. Like his crown falling. Like
yeah, the crown wasn't supposed to fall off, and then Damien picks it up and hands it to him as like a brotherly love thing, which obviously those two have had problems galore in the past, and the fact that he did that to show him that he still loves him as a brother and he's there for him, even to pick him up in his weakest moments. I thought that was amazing. So I didn't realize it was completely impromptu. I knew that the crown wasn't supposed to happen, and that happened, and that moment was perfect for being improvised. I didn't know
that was the improv part. That was whole him coming up to pick it up. That was the improvisation. Like that scene was supposed to be him going up to the throne.
Just amazing acting that's going on in this series. Just so
also,
great.
The costumes are beautiful. Oh my god! Every episode, I am more and more impressed by costume design. Like, look at Rhaenyra's dress in this current episode. Like, excuse me? It's beautiful.
Bigger budgets mean better things.
Oh, man. Speaking about bigger budgets, Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, we are actually going to be starting a watch-through of that.
Right. We're wanting to get through our She-Hulk stuff. We're wanting to get through all the Marvel stuff and talk about that, and then we're actually going to be doing a watch-through series of Rings of Power, and we're also doing a watch-through right now for the rest of Game of Thrones, which is exciting as well. So if you haven't checked those out, check out our watch-throughs where we just kind of watch the movies with you guys, watch the TV shows with you guys, and kind of like pick apart and what we think is really cool as we watch it, and it's a fun time. It's a great way to spend some time with us. So make sure you're looking and clicking on those watch throughs, and be looking out for us watching Rings of Power. I, for one, am not the biggest Lord of the Rings fan. I enjoy the movies and everything, but I haven't been the biggest Lord of the Ring fans. We're probably going to be watching through the Hobbit series, because that's another series that I have not personally watched, and I definitely want to watch those as well. So we're probably going to be doing some fun watch parties. If you guys are Lord of the Rings and Hobbit fans, make sure you guys are tuning in, because this has been the Absurd American Nerdcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and turn on the bell for notifications.